Okay, got sound now?
No spun.
I don't know why that turned itself off. Shouldn't have. But anyways, okay, well, we weren't talking anything important anyways. You had to read our lips. Well, Barb, really, you should be able to read lips. So you can hear now, right? Can everybody hear okay? I'm just waiting for somebody to tell me. That's okay, Needlesmith. Yep, you can hear us now. Okay, that's fine. Glad you let us know. Little button was put on mute. I don't know why. Walter probably did it. It's his fault. That's who I'm going to blame, because he blamed me. Okay, so anyways, I was saying hello to everybody. Laura, Barb, Patsy, Teresa, Donna, Needlesmith, Jennifer. Did I miss anybody? Glenna. Okay. So, everybody, welcome. We were just saying, hope the weather was okay where you were. Ours has been a mixed day. There's been some rain and there's been some sunshine. I'm not sure what it's doing out there now.
It's sort of overcast. It's 22.
It's 22, so, yeah.
So, it's like 75 or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's warm,
75
but
Fahrenheit.
not hot.
Yeah.
Hi, Colleen. Yeah, we just had a little technical error beyond my control. Well, not really. I don't know how that got turned off, but whatever. So, yeah, it was working earlier this morning because I used that to record the thing. So I don't know how I managed to get it to turn off. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you can hear us and see us, it's all that matters. Okay, so let's get into things. What has Walter been working on?
Well,
something weird.
Yeah, I've taken a class this week about doing another pair of shorts. I did a pair of long pants from a pattern called Jedediah by a company called Thread Theory, and it's a Canadian company that produces patterns. And the long pants worked out really well. Well, a version of the pants is actually making them into shorts. So, my instructor said, well, I made these really great shorts and they were made out of linen last year. And he says, I'll teach you how to make them. And the only thing is he lines them with silk organza.
Silk organza.
So I was skeptical, and I am still skeptical about these shorts. But I'm making them anyway because I figure something else that I'll learn. I'll probably learn that I won't like it.
Well, show them what it looks like.
Yeah, so anyway, so I've got a stretch linen that I bought from a place online that I buy fabric from called Simplify Fabric, and they're placing it called Iroquois, which is east of Chatham. Anyway, I've got the back part done in the back pocket, and you can do embellishments on the back pocket, but I'm
already look wrinkled,
lazy, and I just did it this way. So that's it, and it's a stretchy fabric.
But I don't know. It doesn't impress me much as far as the feel of it. And
actually, it's a nice quality, I think.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's got all these like already built-in wrinkles.
Yeah, so what?
You know what it reminds me of? Crimpoline.
Yeah.
Remember Crimpoline?
It's stretchy. It's stretchy that way. It's not as stretchy that way. So actually, it's good if it's stretchy that way.
Yeah, I suppose.
Anyway, it's going to be lined with this. This is silk organza. It's not cheap. Anyway, so I bought some of it, and this guy that's teaching the class insists that you should line linen shorts. So
here you go. It's what widows wear, funerals. Yeah.
And so I'm doing it. I'm not thrilled about the project, but I'm doing it. So it'll be an expensive pair of shorts because this material was not cheap, and neither was this.
And you said what, about $150?
Well, no, like I have enough material for 2 pairs of shorts. So
okay, so $75 a pair.
Yeah, it'll probably cost me about $75, $80 for a pair of shorts.
That's kind of pricey for it.
But anyway, I'm going ahead and doing the project because I'm learning something new. So, well, I guess this linen that I've got for the shorts is actually a very structured linen for linen.
What do you mean structured?
Like it's very heavy enough weight that I don't really think it needs to be lined. But
so what
like
is the point?
Through, It's not see-through.
So what's the point of this lining?
It's
of this?
supposed to give it more structure. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but
okay, so that would be next to your body, right?
right.
Okay, I could see, you're putting on your shorts and easily, well, it looks fairly strong, but
Yeah, actually, it's
easily
supposed to be.
ripping
You need to have it supposedly silk because then it's breathable.
okay.
Anyway,
I don't know. My lungs are
I'm
up here,
making
but
it anyway. I'm seeing how it is, and if I don't like it, I'll rip the lining out of it.
it just seems really. I've never, ever in my life ever had a pair of pants or shorts or anything else lined with silk organza. I've never even heard of, I've heard of silk organza, but I've never heard of it in clothing.
Yeah.
Maybe in ladies' clothes. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, anyway, I'm doing it anyway.
Yeah,
The lining is supposed to be, supposedly the pants won't, the shorts won't have any structure. So I'm putting the lining in for structure, which I really don't quite get because I think the material's heavy enough for it, and he's got exactly the same material. So,
well, these shorts are not lined,
yeah,
and they're a cotton polyester,
yeah,
and that has more structure than these.
yeah.
that
So
I'm
I don't
wearing.
know.
So I don't know.
It's actually the color. What do you call that color?
I don't
It's
know.
sort of like a denim, or not really. It's sort
kind
of
of
a
a blue.
medium blue.
Indigo.
Actually, when I purchased it,
It's indigo.
Is it? Well, that's what it was called. On
Yeah,
the
it's
thing.
indigo.
Oh, okay.
Indigo's a really dark blue, kind of a thing. So what are people saying here?
They're going to be almost a casual short, I think. Not really a dressy type short. They'll be a dressy short in that there won't be any cargo pockets on it or anything like that.
What kind of pockets are going to be on? Are the split
there's-
ones inside? or-
There's just, these are the back pockets.
Yeah, but I'm thinking,
Right.
what are the side
the
pockets?
side
gonna be?
pockets will just be a slit one that you put your hand
Yeah,
in.
like what we're
Yeah,
wearing
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody bought, Needlesmith said she ordered pant patterns for her from Thread Theory. Actually, they are, the Thread Theory patterns are actually very good. They have good instructions with it, too.
Oh, do they? Where
Yeah.
did they come from?
They come from Vancouver, I think.
Oh, they're a Canadian
Yeah,
company? Oh. Well, are the patterns designed by Canadians or are they just a distributor?
Well, I'm
Or do
not
they
100%
make them?
sure if they make them or what, but they you can get them either in PDF format or you can get them in like a what do you call it?
I don't know.
Tissue paper pattern.
Oh.
Which is a what do you call it? That's how a lot of past patterns came before they came out with PDF patterns.
Yeah, well, that's that's not that long ago. Laura says as long as fabric is stretching the right direction, that's for sure. Color of the short reminds me of a local Mennonite dresses. Are they
Yeah,
going
the
to
one
be
problem with
dress
this
style
is
shorts?
that the color doesn't seem to translate that well when you see it on. Right, it almost looks like a gray.
Yeah, it does, but it's not.
It's actually a blue.
It's a blue. It's indigo.
Yeah.
It's indigo blue.
Well, we'll see.
Laura says the color looks like the shorts will go with just about anything. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons I chose that. I wanted a color that's different than beige and black and stuff like that, but I wanted something still fairly neutral.
Now, when you sew that lining in, how does the lining, to me, what I'm picturing is you have this shorts with this lining inside of it, and the lining inside of it's going to be all baggy.
No, it's not.
No?
No, you put the lining in, it'll be just like the material there. You'll see it when I have to do it. It's
Okay.
not that.
Fine. Whatever. Well, it's not impressing me much, but don't matter.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's all you've been working on?
Pretty much. What else? I was finishing. Yeah, that's pretty much it right now. Got busy. I got busy with some other things. So,
What about the shirt you're working on?
yeah, I still got to put the pocket on it.
Oh.
I got busy doing non-sewing things.
Oh, and what about your jacket, your coat, your whatever?
Oh, go away.
Oh, Oh, don't touch that subject. Okay. Guess we're not happy about that one. All right, we'll just leave that alone then. Okay, so what have I been working on? Well, lots of things. Let's see if I can get things up on the screen. Where's my bloody cursor? Down there. I want it up here. Okay, why am I having trouble? There it is. And let's go here. And so we have a friend that's in the hospital. I don't know if we mentioned it last week or not, but we found out this individual, he was on his way to work. Now, he's an older gentleman. He's close to 80 years old, might even be 80. And he's semi-retired. He works as a receptionist sort of at, I'm not really sure what
it's like a talent agency
or something. You know, he's on the front door kind of a thing. And he works 3 days out of the week or something. So it's in downtown Toronto. So he commutes. He takes the GO train. That's our commuter train here into work. Well, I guess he was taken into work a few weeks ago. And he got off at Union Station. Union Station is the central hub for downtown Toronto for, you know, buses, trains, and everything like that. And he collapsed. And I guess some people around him or whatever, because he was kind of on his own, you know, rushed to his aid, and they called paramedics and whatnot, and they took him off to the hospital. He had a brain bleed. And he is still, this is, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or so now.
May 9th, I think, is when it happened.
Is that when it happened? It was that long ago?
Yeah.
You told him long enough to let us know about it. Anyways, yeah, well, that's a month ago. Anyways, he's in hospital, but as far as we know, he's on a ventilator, but he's alert, and he knows who people are and everything. But nevertheless, if you're on a ventilator, that's not really a good thing. And they moved him out of Toronto and moved him to a hospital here in our area, a little town where my sister lives, which is just to the east of us, not very far, Bowmanville. And so he's there in the hospital. And we really don't know what the outcome of this is going to be. I mean, he's almost 80, if not 80. I mean, he's a fairly active man.
He played golf, and he's doing all kinds of things.
And all kinds of things. So, you know, I don't know if he has other health problems or whatever, but, you know, he
is actually a very tall man.
He's a very big man, like tall, big boned. You know, not like big as in a huge fat kind of thing. He's just really, really a big man. But anyway, so he's into airplanes, commercial airplanes. I don't know if I think he used to work years ago for Ward Air.
For an airline,
that doesn't exist anymore. Canadian airline called Ward Air. But anyways, he loves airplanes. So I thought I'd make him a quilt as a gift for him. And I ordered some airplane fabric. And you can see that in the center of the quilt right here. If I can, no, I probably can't. Can I blow it up? Load it up good? Yeah, here we go. That's what, oops, I don't know what that is. That's what the fabric looked like. And I ordered it on an Etsy. That one in the middle looks kind of rude. Bit of a bend to it.
I think it's just you got to wave in that.
Well, I know it's just where it's laid on the carpet. But anyways, looks kind of rude. But anyways, I ordered this from an Etsy store called Millie's Discount Crafts. I was a little skeptical, but I couldn't find anything that was appropriate like this. So I took the chance, and I have to say, I'm going to review this online store on Tuesday in the Idiot Quilter episode because I'm quite impressed with them. Anyways, I got it, went through my stash. It's my own design. I'm using a special, okay, where's my cursor? I'm using a special ruler, or template, well, no, it's a ruler, that makes these sort of shapes, I guess, like a square, you do a certain thing to it. It's called the little twister, if any of you have ever heard of it or not. And I was trying to do sort of a flight theme throughout this quilt, and that's why you see flying geese in it. And this fabric I got at Ultimate Sewing, it's clouds. So it'll be supposed to wifty thing. So I got the top done this morning. It's actually now quilted as well. I haven't put the border on it yet. That'll come. I'll start working on that tomorrow. So once I get the binding on it and everything, then I'll take some pictures and I'll show it to you then. I used a quilting motif that looks like jets in the clouds. It's kind of a neat looking pattern for it, but I'll show you all that when it's completely done. So my idea is that when I get it done, I guess we'll figure out if he's still in the hospital. I'm not going to take it to the hospital because, you know, in the hospital it'll go missing. But we'll take it over to his other half, find a time when we can and drop it off at the house. And yeah, just something to maybe cheer him up a little bit because I know he likes airplanes. So anything airplanes makes him happy. So that's one thing I've been working on. And this isn't a project I'm working on, but I'm so thrilled with this. It is a wool pressing mat. Now I have other wool pressing mats, but I didn't have one as big as this. In fact, I didn't know they made them this big. I knew they made a size bigger than what I did have. I had two in this spot. This is my pressing table. And I had two there, 18 inches by 24, I think. But the problem is they were sitting side by side, but then you have a gap between them. And when you're ironing things, sometimes your fabric kind of gets down into that gap and then you get a wrinkle in it. So I thought, I wonder if there's something larger. And I figured they'd be as expensive as hell. But I went on Amazon and lo and behold, I found this one. I've actually cut this down. It was 22 inches high. It's 60 inches long. Wide. 60 inches was too big. I only needed 45 inches in that space, so I cut it. It cut very easily with a 60 millimeter rotary cutter, and it's a half-inch thick, just the same thickness, same quality as the other mats I have. Now, those other mats cost me, I think, about $80 a piece at the time I bought them. Guess how much this was on Amazon? 129 Canadian dollars on Amazon. Free shipping if you had Prime. I got it within a day, 2 days. I was taking a chance because I thought, I don't know. I read the reviews on it. The reviews were pretty good. So I took a chance and I'm thrilled.
Do you remember the name of the company?
T.O. Rising.
Yeah, T.O. Rising.
T.O. Rising was the name of the company that made it. It's made in China, but everything is. So that doesn't mean anything. But the quality is good. And there were some review complaints that said, well, it smelled when you got it out. Well, it's wool. And yes, now I have not noticed. I've used this. I've steamed all over it and everything while I was making that other quilt. I did not notice any kind of real smell coming from that. There's smell that comes off my other ones.
Maybe it's not wool.
They still do. It says it's 100% wool.
Yeah.
And the company gives it a 100% guarantee. And everything. So I'm happy with it. So if you're looking for a large wool mat, I strongly suggest you go onto Amazon. I think they have them on Amazon.com for the Americans as well, and they're even cheaper. I think they were only, someone looked it up yesterday.
So we didn't look it up, but somebody looked it up and said it was something
like $80 or something for it, American. So on Amazon.com. So yeah, this was a good buy. I was really happy with that when I got it. So let's get out of this and go back to here and go back to here. And what are people saying? Wendy's in Wisconsin on vacation. Enjoying the cheese, Wendy, are you? No to the bomber jacket. Lauren says,
well, right now I'm not too happy with the material I chose, and so I'm trying to figure out, should I go forward with that material and go to the extreme of making the jacket and end up with a jacket that I don't like, or should I kind of shelve it and wait till I get a material that I really want to use for it. I do want to make it.
Well, why don't you like the fabric that's in it?
Well, see, it was originally the pattern called for this kind of fabric, and I got it, right? But then what happened was I went to the class, And he had about 5 different other jackets that I liked better, made from different material.
Oh,
Right. So, and I mean, in my mind, I wasn't thinking, okay, I should use a different kind of material until you actually go somewhere and see him using that pattern to make it into a different kind of jacket, what I like better. So, I'm not sure if I want to go forward with this material. So,
by the way, the camera is here.
Okay.
Like it.
Yeah, I know. I keep
Because we're looking at
the
monitor part here. We've got to get used to looking straight on this. People think we're looking over their head. Let's see. What are people saying? Jan says, "Hi, Stephen and Walter. Just got to the cottage. I even cleaned the house before I left." Well, thank God, Jan, you did that, because I wouldn't want you coming here with a dirty house.
Laura says it's too well, no, it's not too late for me to start my jacket over again because I haven't gotten very far with it. I've cut it all out and I started making the pockets on it. So I have a couple of pieces that I have pockets on. But I haven't lined it yet, and I haven't I mean, I've cut all the lining out and everything, so I could very easily buy some new exterior material and then just repurpose the stuff that I was using for the rest of it with a newer material.
So Laura asks, what do you use the wool mat for in terms of quilting and sewing? Oh, the wool mat is great when you're pressing seams on your quilt blocks. When you use a little steam with it, it retains that steam. In fact, you can actually burn your hand, ask me how I know, on the wool mat. It wicks the steam through it. And so, especially when I'm making binding, and I'm taking the steam iron, I'm going up the length of it, and I'm holding my finger down here, it kind of channels through the fabric, and but it is so great.
Yeah, I have a wool mat upstairs. It's not as big as that one, but I use it all the time for pressing as well. I really like it.
And the other thing you can do with them too, because it's a 1/2 inch thick, if you're trying to block something, like I know some people will block knitting or things like that. Well, you can put pins right into this mat and hold your structure there. Or I often use if I've got a long seam to rip out, I will use my electric seam ripper, and I'll put a pin in the edge of where I've opened up the seam part way, and then I just zip right up with the electric seam ripper, and because I'm holding it down in the wool mat. I love them. I think they are one of the best inventions they ever came out with for people.
Yeah, it's great for sticking your pins in too.
Yeah, well, make sure you pull them up later. Selena's here from Queensland, Australia, and it's very chilly. Well, you are into winter, aren't you? I guess. And what's very chilly, Selena, for you? I want to know. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Judy. Did I miss it? Hi, Yvonne. Just checking here if I missed anybody to say hello to.
Brisbane is 10 degrees Celsius.
Oh.
That's nothing.
Puppies.
That's shorts weather here.
Puppies. Oh, my goodness. But anyways, so I finished up my Glowing Hearts series, the quilt from hell. I made a table runner. I showed that last week, and I made some pillow covers too for our pillows in our rec room. So I got my money's worth out of the fabric, even though it gave me a big headache. But I'm not going to show that to you today. You've seen it in bits and pieces. I'm going to save that for Idiot Quilter next week, because there's some things I want to talk a little bit more detail about those items, and I think it's more appropriate that discussion for the Idiot Quilter. So let's see what else. Okay, yesterday I did a pop-up sew craft day. We had a lot of fun. Great group. We were a small group, but that's okay. Everybody got a lot done. I got a lot done. Did you get a lot done? Do you remember yesterday?
No, I got some stuff done. I got put my pocket on. But I got sidetracked with a couple other things, like doing links for that discussion we had on patterns.
Right.
So I was I was late getting to the to the retreat as well. So
Well, yeah, why would that been?
kind of slept in.
What do you mean slept in? You slept in your usual time.
Anyway, so yeah.
But anyways,
Anyway.
it was a good time, but we did something different. On Friday, there were things going on here. I had a Zoom meeting that ran a little longer than it usually does, and it was coming up close to the time we had an appointment with a window and door person. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. And they were running a little late, so we really couldn't do the So Chatty. So I got this idea, and I do think it was brilliant because it worked out pretty good, I think. We did So Chatty on Saturday during the pop-up So Day, and so we had a live studio audience because we did it all through Zoom, and that's what, if you haven't seen it yet, it's up on YouTube now. And it worked out pretty good because I had to use several different types of technology to do what I wanted to do. So I was very impressed with myself, given the fact that I'm still trying to learn this Mac computer. Although I'm getting a little bit better with it, I'm getting a little bit more used to it. In fact, you know you're getting used to it when you go over to do something on your PC, and I had to think, how do I do that? Or I'm clicking on something going, wait, that's not doing what I want it to do. Oh yeah, this is a PC. It's not a Mac. So yeah, Pop-Up So Day was good. I didn't know whether or not, a lot of people would be interested in doing something like that on a Saturday in the summer. At least here in our area, we don't get that many days of summer. So, you want to make the most of them. Not like I go anywhere or we do anything. Frolic in the heat. I don't know. We're not frolickers. Frolic. I can't imagine you frolicking. No. But anyways, it was a good day. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll have another one at some point in time. Never know when. Never know when.
Selena says it's 5.8 degrees Celsius. So yeah,
that's chilly.
It's chilly. When we go, with us and being in Canada, and we're so in our area in Canada, and it gets really fairly cold here. When it's the fall and it becomes 5.8 degrees, everybody bundles up because they have just had the summer. Right? But in the spring, when it's 5.8 degrees, then
everybody puts on their shorts. Yeah.
Well, not probably 5.8 degrees, but when it gets to about 13, probably everybody puts their shorts on.
Yeah. So, anyways, Australia, wish we were there. Jan loved yesterday. Good, I'm glad. Barb said she enjoyed watching it. It's more fun when you participate in it, too. Judy says, I got 23 blocks finished yesterday. Great day. Yeah, you were very productive. Laura says that's chilly for Australia.
Yeah, I think it probably is.
It might be. I don't know. Selena can probably tell us, since she's a native to it. I know the time that we went, when we were there that one year and it was winter here, summer there, they were having a cold snap or something, remember? And I think it dropped to something like...
It was like 18 degrees.
18 degrees like Celsius, something like that. And everybody was bundling up. And we're looking at them going, whoa, no, that's hot. But whatever.
Actually, that for us, that's kind of nice weather.
Yeah, that's just comfortable. Yeah. Oh, Marie's here. Hi, Marie. Hello, everyone. I tried to get here on time. Oopsie. We're going to beat you. We're going to beat you up, Marie. Yep, simple as that. No problem. I was watching today, actually, Marie, your bag tutorial. That was really good. As well, while I was sewing, I was watching what you were sewing. And if everybody doesn't know, check out Marie's Scrappy Creations. Lots of great videos there. Laura missed the event yesterday as I had the roofers in, so lots of noise going on.
Oh, yeah.
There. Oh, yeah, well.
Was that because you were getting a new roof, like you would normally get a new roof, or is that because you lost some
or was that because of the
shingles
storm?
Because of the storm?
And Selena says, hubby had to ride his Harley to the Brisbane airport at 3 a.m. It's a 2-hour ride. He freezes, but he loves it. Okay, well, Australians, they're tough people. There's just no two ways about it. They are a tough people. Fun, though. I just love Aussies. I do. I really do. In another life, I want to be an Aussie or a cat. Or maybe it'll be an Aussie cat. I don't know. Or a kangaroo.
As long as they don't get hit by a car.
No, I was thinking a kangaroo that's in a reserve, that kind of thing. Colleen says she's nearly finished her binding and the label is attached.
Oh, Laura says both.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And Marie says, thanks. I'm sewing while tuning in now. No beating me, Stephen. I'll tell Walter you're picking on me. Like, he'll do anything about it?
That's okay. I'm used to being picked on.
Oh, yeah. Your life is so hard. I pick on you so much. If anybody gets picked on around here, me.
Yeah, right.
Me. Okay. So, want to just remind you, if you saw So Chatty yesterday, you will see the big announcement for the International Stitch Marathon, which is, there are a bunch of us that are getting together to do this. It's really the brainchild of Brenda Logan, who's the owner, operator, creator, oh, I got the hiccups, of Conquering Mount Scrapmore. And you probably know her if you've been on Craft and Chats. She is often here on a Craft and Chat. I've interviewed her, so there's an interview with her, and also I have reviewed her YouTube channel some time ago as well. So Brenda's doing this. This is the second one. Brenda ran one back in the early spring. I was part of that, but as a participant, and it was fun. This time there's about 8 of us, I think, roughly, that are all co-hosts. Not sure how that works out, because I'm a little worried, like too many cooks spoil the broth or whatever kind of a deal. But it's going to be 12 hours of working on whatever you want to work on, sort of like a Craft and Chat. I don't know if there's anything else really planned during it. I think Brenda hinted at some other special little events, like games or something during the day. You'll find that the announcement, and it's all in my show notes below, and it'll be in the show notes for everything up until July the 22nd. You'll see that it starts at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, because Brenda lives in Calgary, and so that's her time zone. For those of us in North America on the East Coast, Eastern Time, that would be 2 hours later. So we would be starting at 11 a.m. And those of you on the Pacific Coast, it would be 1 hour before, so it would be 8 a.m. So whatever. But the idea is she's trying to at least have it so that people from different time zones can join in for a while. It's not something where you have to spend the whole day. You can if you want. You can spend the whole 12 hours. If you want to come and go, that's perfectly all right too. I'm not going to be there until 11 o'clock at night, I can tell you that. It is a Friday. I'm not absolutely sure why it was decided that it would be a Friday, but because, I'm thinking of those of you that, still work, that might like to come. But then again, it does run until into the evening, so I suppose if you did work that day, you could come in, after you get home from work or something like that. I don't know. And that's all I know about it, but there is a description of it. And what I'm going to do every week on So Chatty is I'm going to feature one of the co-hosts. And each of the co-hosts, well, most of the co-hosts, have created a little promo video about their YouTube channel, because they all have YouTube channels as well. They run about 2 minutes, 1.5, 2 minutes long. So I'm going to include those in So Chatty each week. And this may introduce you to new YouTube channel that you didn't know anything about, or new creators that you might want to check out. They're all very talented people, all worth the watch. So yeah, watch for that on So Chatties for the next few weeks until we get up to that date. Okay, so anything? Jan wants to be a cat too. Kangaroos are beautiful. We have them in our backyard. I love kangaroos.
Actually, that was us always been a highlight of the trip to Australia, is to see kangaroos in the wild, sort of thing.
Yeah, but then we went to several different, over the 3 trips that we've been there, we've gone to different animal preserves. We went to the Australian Zoo and we got to feed the kangaroos at several of these, and they are so cute. They're large, but they come right up to you because they're used to people feeding them and everything in these places, and you get the pellets or whatever they eat, and they walk right up to you and they put their little paws on your shoulders to keep their balance as they're eating out of your hand. The first time one of them does that, because they're not a small animal and they're kind of on the heavy side, you kind of wonder, are you nice? But they are, and they let you scritch them,
especially
on the ear.
in those
yeah, they're used to people
right? So,
doing it. But I just love kangaroos. So
I mean, you're probably used to them
Yeah.
because you live there. But for a North American coming to Australia, it's kind of very different.
yeah. But the other thing though that's kind of sad, we have lots of roadkill here in Canada. We have raccoons, porcupines, occasionally a possum. They're imports.
Occasionally a deer.
A deer, yeah. Well, if you hit a deer or a moose, you pretty much are dead. Well,
you get your car wrecked.
Well,
really bad,
well, it can wreck you too, especially if
Yeah.
you hit a moose. But
Yeah.
we don't really have moose down here in this area we live in. But out west, they have lots of moose.
But we do hear occasionally of somebody driving around here in Ontario and either hitting a deer or getting hit by a deer.
Or you hit a skunk, and ooh, that's not fun. When you hit a skunk, the little sucker goes off like a bomb, and it just
If you run over one, your car stinks forever.
forever. Yeah, with that. So we're used to the roadkill, but they have roadkill in Australia, kangaroos. We were warned when we were in Australia because we had to rent a car to kind of, if we didn't have to drive at night, don't drive at night.
In the country anyway.
Yeah, in the country. Because one of these suckers could come across and you hit one of those. And yeah, that's like hitting a deer here, or even worse. But we did notice on the side of the road, this is kind of gross.
Yeah, we went down one road that was a logging road. So I guess logging trucks were going through all hours of the day, all the time. And of course, trucks are big, right? And there were a lot of dead kangaroos on the road. So.
And I mean, they just splat it looks like a murder scene on the side of the road. So yeah, and then we saw a lot of people have hot 4x4s or half-ton trucks or that kind of thing, and they have a bar in front of like above their bumper, but a big bar grill kind of thing. And we were told those are called, and Selena can correct us if this is not quite right, we were told that those are called rhubars, and they are meant to protect your vehicle if you happen to hit a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Something like that. So maybe Selena, you can confirm that or fill us in if we've got that wrong or not. Marie says she asked me to join. Brenda, I think she's referring to join that. But when she asked me, our son had just passed away, so I told her I probably wouldn't. Now, though, I may be interested. You probably still can, Marie, but you can also just participate in it too, because we're not really doing anything as co-hosts. I'm not really sure why we're all being co-hosts. I'm still a little confused about that. It's fine, but I just don't know what our role is. I mean, she wants somebody to be there. She was talking about doing shifts so that there will always be at least one of us online during the day. But then she also said she was going to be on for the full 12 hours as well. And it's her account with the Zoom and everything. So, and I think she mentioned the fact her husband thinks it's best that she is on there for the 12 hours. I think her husband's helping her out with it too. They're kind of a team with this. So I don't know, but it'll be fun. It's something to get caught up on whatever you're working on. And as I said, it's going to be open to everybody. Doesn't matter what you work on. So got to give these things a try. Marie says, Brenda and I are filming a sew date this coming week. I just love her pieces. By the way, Adam from Adam Sews mentioned me at the end of his bag video the other day. He's just so sweet. Yes, I know he did because I watched him all the time and I noticed that he mentioned you on there. Laura says, I cried the first time I saw a deceased kangaroo on the side of the road in Australia. It was so sad. Yeah, I know it is. But just be thankful you weren't the one that hit him. They jump out, Selena says, in front of you, and we have one do it and it wrecked our car. Yeah, because they're not a small animal. They are called bull bars, but I've heard them called rhubars too. Oh, okay. Yeah, because whoever told us about it, they called it a rhubar. But yeah. But why a bull bar? Is there a problem with bulls in Australia? I didn't notice that. I don't know.
Unless they are designed for whatever company they're designed by, and actually their official name might be bull bar. But,
maybe, I don't know. But anyways, something you don't see here in North America is that. Of course, we don't have kangaroos. So, I'm getting a little bit more used to, as I said, with the Mac and with Final Cut Pro. And my last couple of videos, I have used Final Cut Pro to edit them. And I'm going to try and add a little bit more fun dissolves from scenes in that, and maybe take advantage of some of the fancy features that are in Final Cut, which I'm not used to because I was using iMovie on my iPad to edit, and it's very limited. One feature I just discovered the other day, though, and I really, really like, is voice enhancement. What it does is, like right now, if you listen closely, you can probably hear the buzz in the background. It's because my 3D printers are running. And oftentimes in my videos, you will hear that in the background too. Well, not anymore, except for this one. Because in Final Cut, I can highlight the audio portion and click on one little button, and what it does is it centers on the voice, and any background sounds are gone completely. It works like a charm. I couldn't believe how effective that was. So I will be using that a lot. But there's all kinds of things I can do in that. And I'm just, as each time I use it, I kind of look for a new feature and try to see if I can incorporate it into what I'm doing and learn it. And I guess that's how I'm going to learn it. Because I can't sit down with a book and go through the book page by page. I got a book for using the Mac. Walter talked about it, Macs for Dummies or something like that. And yeah, it's a good book, but it puts me to sleep, although the guy tries to be humorous in it. So I use it now as a reference. If I'm looking to do something, I might check that out. Actually, most times I just go on Google and go, how do I do this in a Mac? And I get all kinds of answers. So, and I just bought Adobe Photoshop Elements for the Mac. I have used Photoshop Elements for years on my PC. So I went looking for, it's not that bad a price for a program, but the problem is Adobe wants you to subscribe and do a monthly fee, and I don't use it that much that I could justify paying a monthly fee. But you can get it as a standalone program. But it was something like, I found it on Amazon, I think it was $139 Canadian, plus tax. There's always tax. And I asked Walter what he was using on his Mac. Well, we were using something called Pixelmator. Pixelmator.
I haven't used it that much, but I occasionally, when I want to edit a photograph with a little bit more detail, I may try to use it. But I paid, it was an app on Apple, and it was, when I bought it, it was $27, and now
it's $59.
Now they're, 50, is it 59?
Yeah, it was 59, I think.
And for 27 it was worth it, but I don't know if it's
59. No, well, I took a look at it, the free.
It doesn't work. I find that I use the what do you call it? The one that you bought. The what's the one that you
what? Photoshop Elements.
Well, yeah, Photoshop Elements before, and when I was using the PC mostly, and I kind of liked it. I got used to it. The Pixelmator is a little bit different in its orientation, and I'm not sure if it's as detailed. But for what I need to do on occasion, it works. If worse comes to worse, I can ask Steve. I can go back to my PC, or I can go...
Or you can put it on yours.
Yeah, too. Or I can put it mine.
Because apparently, with this one that I bought, you can have it on 2 computers.
Yeah.
So... And it came with the Windows version too, so I put it on my Windows computer as well, just because I could.
Yeah.
It's there, but yeah, I'm more comfortable with using it, and I don't do a lot of graphic work, but when I do, I want something that I'm used to and I know how to use, so that's why I invested in it. Anyways, I'm getting used to the Mac. Do I regret buying it? Nope, I do not. I mean, just the camera that's in this thing right now, and people have made some comments about it, how they found that our videos are a little bit clearer, and that because it's a very good camera. The one that was in, well, I was using actually a webcam from Logitech, which is a very popular one, the 920. Everybody uses it, and it's a pretty good camera. But you know, when you compare it to what's built into this Mac, its resolution of that, the Mac is superior. The Mac is really actually very superior to a lot of things I'm finding. It's just that learning curve of how they structure things. But I'm getting used to it, so that's okay. Yeah, it was worth the 7,000.
Marie says, oh no, Selena, sounds like the moose and deer here in Maine. Moose can total a vehicle and kill the occupant.
Yeah.
Yeah, moose are big animals. Like, I mean, they're a lot bigger than a kangaroo.
Yeah.
But yeah, out in East Coast, I think certain areas of Canada have problems with moose. Northern Ontario and very northern Ontario, near Thunder Bay area and stuff, I think have a lot of moose problems. And out west near the Rockies, they have a lot of moose problems. And out, especially out the East Coast, like Newfoundland is supposed to be bad for moose, and probably in area, if Marie says Maine is bad, I imagine the eastern provinces of Canada have the same kind of issues.
Yeah. Laura asks, how do you like Final Cut Pro? Steep learning curve, but it's starting to make sense to me. So it does so many things. It's extremely powerful. I bought the program. It's not cheap. It cost me, I think, over $400.
Yeah, I think it's $399.
Yeah.
Plus of course tax. So.
Yeah, it's not a cheap program, but it does a lot. And you know, it's an investment. I make all these videos. I need something that's a little bit more robust than what I was using. So, but yeah, but you'll see the differences. I really like right now the dissolve that has the leaves that come by. You'll know what I mean when you see one of the videos. I use it there. Jan says, will your voice be even more softer, Teehee? I don't get it.
Actually, I think you have a pretty good voice.
I have my teacher voice. You know, I'm used to being able to project my voice to the back of a room.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get involved with a teacher when you're in a room full of people that scare the crap out of you.
Yeah. Marie says, Steve, do you mind if I email you with a question about live streaming? No, sure, Marie. Go ahead. I don't know if I'll have the answer, but I will lie if I don't, so it's not a problem. Barb says, in Banff, Alberta, problems with moose, deer, and bears. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh, I think hitting a bear would be even worse than hitting a moose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, what always killed was what really surprised me, or not surprised me. I mean, one year when this is quite a few years ago, when we were driving through Jasper, we saw people trying to take pictures of a bear at the side of the road. Yeah. Like out of their cars, right? Seriously?
Here, little bear, would you like a peanut? No, they want to eat you. No, if your name's Peanut, it'll eat you.
I mean, even sitting in a car looking at a bear, it scares the crap out of me.
Laura says Vancouver Island has problems with elk. And some are like small moose, yeah. Patsy says, what's the plural of moose? Meese, yes.
But moose or mooses?
Mooses. No, it's just moose.
Moose, yeah. Is it like spouse or spouses? We used to say plural of spouse was spice.
Yeah. So. That's so cute. That makes me sick. Yeah. Laura says $400 is not bad considering what you get with it. I bet you will start editing more now. I can see it coming. No, Laura, only if it's a quick edit. Yeah, it's a quick edit. Yes, I have too many other things I want to do than that. Marie says, Walter, yes, the moose are a big animal and they're very slow moving. With a deer, it might run it or turn and you may miss it, but usually if the moose is in the road, it's not moving. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were traveling out west that time and we saw a few moose at the side of the road and we'd slow down, obviously. because in case it decided to move across the road, but they didn't seem to be doing much but just standing there.
Well,
so I imagine that hitting one of those, you'd have to be doing distracted driving.
Be like hitting a brick wall. Selena says, I'm in love with bears and would be excited to see them as visitors to Australia or to see kangaroos. I like bears too.
Not the kind
you're thinking of, though. Never mind. Never mind. Selena says, that would be me taking a photo of a bear. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
When they come up and they're licking their lips, it's a good time to get out of there.
Now, if you ever see bear claws,
Mm.
they're
like, they got nails on them like this. They put like some of those women with long nails to shame because these claws on those suckers are huge. So we are in the process of beginning a major home renovation, which has been a long time coming. And we had on Friday, why we didn't do So Chatty, was because we had the windows and door person come here to talk to us about what we want and start, getting plans in place. We want to replace our double front doors, the transom, which is a half moon over top of the doors, our 2 front living room windows, and they also have quarter moon things. Our windows are all specialty windows.
So there's kind of specialty product.
Yeah, so there'll be a specialty price. And then the 2 windows, which yesterday I took people on a little tour of our house yesterday, impromptu, during pop-up. But we have 2 windows down here that face the front of the house in my sewing room as well that need to be replaced. These are the original windows to this house. We moved into this We moved into this house 27 years ago. And it was brand new house at the time when we moved into it. We watched it being built, kind of a thing.
Now, we could use more windows being replaced, but
Yes.
Right now we're going to do this as the first piece of the project because
it's pricey.
Yeah, it's pricey because just our doors alone are going to cost over $10,000 to do those doors. But that's also because we're switching out the doors. We have solid steel doors right now at the front, plus we have storm doors out the outside, and on top of it is a big half moon transom that goes across the 2 doors. And both those doors open, which is an added price as well. We want to replace them with new steel doors that have an embedded full-length window in them, in both of them, a type of stained glass window. And so that, of course, adds to the price.
Yeah. And we're looking also at the design of this. Walter's been going through the brochure she left us. We have to let her know tomorrow what our decisions are so she can start doing,
getting us an estimate
for everything and things like that. I mean, they're not going to do this tomorrow. I have a feeling we're not going to see them do an installation until come the fall with it. Which is fine. We're not in any rush, and the longer it takes them to install it, the less. I wonder what their terms are for money. I wonder if we have to put something down.
I don't know. We didn't ask that.
She didn't tell us that yet, or whatever.
Yeah. We probably have to give a deposit.
Whatever on it, but that's okay. But fine. I was just trying to figure out a way that I could use the credit card for it and get points.
Yeah, probably can.
Yeah, but this is going to be more than the credit limit on the card. Well, of course, if we have to put down a deposit, that'll be part. So we might be able to.
I have a credit. I have a credit card that has a very high limit on it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I got it for when we paid for that stupid cruise that we went on.
Oh, and you get points on that?
Oh yeah. Well, it's aeroplane points, but.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. We have to work that all out. But yeah, it'll be nice. I'm kind of excited about it. But then you know what happens when you start getting these things. Then
one thing leads to another.
Yeah, like we desperately also need to replace the floors in the front door entrance and in all the bathrooms.
And also and some flooring upstairs as well. So like one thing leads to the other. So I was sort of saying, well, we should probably replace the front doors first as a start, and then start looking at the rest of the stuff.
Yeah. Hi, Derek. Yeah, so anyways, one thing leads to another, and it's ka-ching, 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 of course, for all these kind of things. So anyways, we'll see what happens.
Well, it's cheaper than trying to move.
Well, that wasn't in the cards.
No. I meant that. I mean, we've been in this house for 27 years, and we've done some work to it. But this is a major renovation, a major one. But anyways, I mean, quite a few years ago now, we put a new roof on the house. And we had some flooring put in upstairs.
Oh yeah, well, that's 17 years ago we did the hardwood.
Yeah.
Because that was what everybody gave us when we got married. But we asked for gift certificates from Home Depot so we could put in a hardwood floor, and that's what they gave us, and we paid for the hardwood floor all in gift certificates. The people at Home Hardware, I don't think, were really impressed when we were handing over all this deck of cards.
40 cards.
Yeah, with it. Oh yeah, and we're also getting storm doors. We already have storm doors.
Well, technically, we don't need storm doors. The exterior doors would be insulated doors anyway. But we grew up with some storm doors, and I personally like having a storm door because you can open your insulated door even in the winter time and still sort of look out and still be somewhat protected from the weather. So.
Yeah, plus these ones will have full length glass in them. So they're not like, when you think of a storm door, you might think of one with a screen in it and the window and it slides down, that style. No, this is all...
Well, I mean, it depends on where you're coming from. A lot of countries don't have that.
Oh, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Whatever. Well, in North America. But also, we're also getting the screens, like...
No, we can replace the front window with a screen.
With a screen, full-length screen, too. We could do that with these doors. We have the same thing on these doors. But we used to, in the summertime, it was kind of nice to open up the front doors, have the screen doors in, and let the air, circulate through the house, kind of a thing. And Cleo, our cat, when we first had her, she loved to lay in because she could see out that and get the air because she was an indoor cat. But because, the screens were right down almost to the ground, it was like she was inside out. Until a cat came to the door one day. And she was not a happy little camper to the point where she was trying to kill everything in sight, which included us. So from that day on, we never opened the doors again when we had Cleo. And now...
Yeah, we haven't done it in such a long time.
We're just haven't done it. Used to that. So, yeah. So this will be a new lifestyle. Unless we get another cat that does the same thing. Derek says, I learned to drive in Scottish Highlands. Pitch dark for late afternoon driving lessons. Deer came out in front of me and totaled the front of the car. Freaked me out for months. Yeah. Never hit a deer. I did hit a skunk once.
No, but I've known people that had a deer hit them. So.
Laura says, I'll be doing some windows as well and upgrade furnace and kitchen cabinets for front porch. The joys of home ownership. That's going to cost you, dear. Yeah, the kitchen cabinet business... when people redo their kitchens, wow, that is one of the most expensive rooms in the house. That and a bathroom to upgrade. I think the kitchen is the most expensive because cabinets are not cheap.
Yeah, well, I know. I talked to a guy I know a couple of years ago, and he redid his kitchen, and I'm not sure how extensive it was, but it cost him $50,000 to do that.
Yeah, easy. You can spend even more than that, depending on what you want to do. Okay, don't get any ideas. I'm quite happy with our kitchen right now.
Yeah.
Although it would be nice to have new counters. But then if you get new counters, you want a new cabinet.
Well, yeah. The problem is with new counters is that you might want two cabinets too. So anyway,
I know.
We'll worry about that later.
Yeah, that's not happening tomorrow. I don't have any more people that can drop dead and leave me an inheritance. Mm-hmm. I'm out of that. So, But anyway, so that's what's all coming up on that. Now, there was something I was going to say. Someone said something here, and
Marie says wink.
oh,
Bears
knows what I mean. Yeah. So somebody, last week we talked about the terminology for LGBTQ, and apparently now in Toronto on the news they're calling it not LGBTQ. Now they're calling it 2S LGBTQ plus. The two is the two-spirited, but they moved it to the front now. I don't know if they're trying to do. No, they can't be doing stuff alphabetically because it would be different in I don't know. But anyways, just all part of the confusion. But I did get a comment from one viewer, and I thought this was an interesting comment, their reaction to what we were talking about. She said, "Thank you for the frank discussion about the different labels. I have been confused about them and have been hesitant to ask directly what they mean. It is reassuring to know that these terms seem to be confusing to everyone, not just those that are not listed in the alphabetical label. I live my life by one simple creed: treat people the way I want to be treated, with respect. It's that simple. I feel that society has gotten lazy. They are too lazy to actually get to know a person and instead rely on labels. It is a big disservice to everyone. Really great people are dismissed from relationships, family, jobs, legal protection, investments, etc. simply because of a label that does not define them at all. In addition, many feel they have to accept someone because it is not politically correct to disassociate with someone because it will be seen as not being LGBTQ plus friendly, instead of the real reason: they were simply a jerk. Thanks for reading my comment." There's a lot packed in here, and I kind of want to just take a second to dissect it because I really agree. I think this is very well put. She said that she's been confused about the terminology and she hesitates to ask directly what they mean. Yeah, I think that's true of a lot of people. We are so concerned about being politically correct that we don't ask and try to educate ourselves. And this isn't just part of the LGBT community, but people of different religions. Like, I think we're all afraid to walk up to someone that might be, say, a Muslim and say, "Excuse me, can you explain why, as a Canadian Muslim, you are wearing a headscarf?" or something like that. Now, I was telling people about this on the Pop-Up Sew Day yesterday. When I was teaching school, I had, we had lots of Muslim students in there, and one of the girls in my class, she wore a headscarf, but from there down, she looked just like any other high school girl. She had jeans on, the top. She didn't look like some of the girls. Some of the girls were wearing like little crop tops, which is against the school rules, but they didn't seem to obey. She was dressed like a everyday teenager, just the headscarf. That was all. She was a lovely girl too, very smart one as well. Anyways, one of the boys in my class turned around and he said to her, and I don't know what the context was or why, but he said in the class, "Why are you wearing a scarf indoors?" or something. "Why are you wearing a scarf on your head?" He was just an ignorant teenage boy, which most of them are. And I immediately leapt in because, I didn't want her to feel offended or threatened or anything by this. And she said, "No," she says, "it's okay, I can explain that." And I said, "Well, yeah, why not? Let's use it as a teachable moment here." And I learned something. Apparently, she said, "I do not have to wear this. I have chosen to wear it. The reason I wear it is because it's a sign of modesty. And that's why we cover our head with a scarf. But we do not have to wear it." She said, "Some people think this is a mandate of our religion." And she says, it can be in the very, very severe Orthodox part of the religion. But she says, for most of us, no, it's a choice. We can or don't have to.
There are all different versions of that because there's a lady I used to work with and she was Muslim. And when she was indoors, she wore her scarf on her shoulder, right? But as soon as she walked outside, she'd put the scarf over her head. And I said, "Well, how come you are wearing it inside the shoulder?" She says, I'm not comfortable in this environment to wear it on my head. So she says, for me, I just wear it on my shoulder. She says that's what I would have done in my own country, wherever she was from. I'm not sure where she was from. But she says in public, when I walk out in public, then she puts the scarf over her head. And that's just another variation of
we
that.
saw something similar to this when we were in Istanbul. We were visiting some of the famous mosques there as well. And in the mosques, you have to take off your shoes. And if you are Muslim, you have to cover your head. The men wear, I don't know what they call it, but it's some sort of, well, I don't know if they all wear that. But the ladies have to cover their head with a scarf. Well, when we were, Istanbul is a very cosmopolitan city, very, very modern, and a mixture of the modern and the old. But there are many religions in Istanbul. It's not just all Muslim. There's everything there. And we noticed two very smartly dressed ladies coming to the mosque, and they put out the call for prayers. It was their time for their noontime prayers or something. These two ladies were dressed like a well-dressed businesswoman you would see in the streets of New York City. And they weren't wearing a scarf. You would never have ever really thought about them as being anything but professional business ladies there. But as they moved towards the mosque, they were wearing a very nice scarf. I thought it was a fashion accessory. That was how well it went with their outfits and everything like that. Very chic. They threw it up over their head when they went in. So, we get a very stereotypical view of what other cultures are like, and that is thanks to our media, especially in North America. And, I thought when that kid asked or brought that point up and this young lady described it, she was not offended. She saw it as a moment to be able to explain something, because other people probably never bothered to come up to her and ask her point blank. And the reason we don't, I didn't ask her either. I learned something that day. I thought she had to wear that, and I learned differently. But I didn't want to offend her, and I think that's what a lot of us are. But I think we need to get over that. Now, yeah, there is a way you can offend somebody. It depends on your tone of voice and the way you're asking the question. But if you're genuinely concerned or interested, you want to know, you're trying to educate yourself, I think most people are very happy to fill you in.
We're happy if somebody asks us a question about something, as long as it's not done in a negative way.
Yeah, we'll answer. Like many times I've had people ask me, and it's a hard question to answer, why are you gay? Now, there's two ways they could put that. Why are you gay? Okay, that one doesn't qualify as an answer because I'm perfect and you're not. That's my answer to that. All right. But when they why are you gay? Or the more common question is, how did you become gay? Well, there's so many things there that, are complex and that, and I'm not going to get into that.
Actually, it's a complicated question.
Yeah, complicated question. Yeah. And again, depending on the tone, but some people just genuinely are very interested and want to know these things. They're trying to widen their horizons. And as somebody who comes from a teaching background, I'm all for that. Widen your horizons. So I don't think people should be afraid.
Or when somebody asks you a question like, how do you know you're gay if you've never been with a woman?
How do you know you're straight if you've never been with someone of the same sex? That's our answer to that.
That's what my answer was.
Yeah, it was Walter's answer. It was very clever. And it shuts them right up. The other thing the person said, I live my life by one simple creed. Treat people in the way I want to be treated, with respect. So, this is almost biblical here. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you, kind of a thing. The golden rule. So, yeah, exactly. And I think, too, that people get too uptight. They're already expecting that they're going to come into conflict with somebody when somebody asks a question or says something to them about their, for lack of a better word, because I hate this word, lifestyle or whatever. I think people take offense too quickly on that. And I was using the example yesterday of a comment that was written on one of my YouTube videos accusing me of using not the correct pronouns for somebody, which I had used the correct pronouns. This person had misinterpreted what the context was of what I was saying, and I took offense to that because they were suggesting I was not being respectful, and I was trying to be very, very respectful. And I'm not going to get into it because I think a lot of you know what I'm talking about because you've seen the video, you may have even read the comment. But, you know, I try to respect other people too. I mean, if they turn around, they treat me like and they're being a jerk, then yeah, they deserve to be treated like a jerk back.
And some people slip up. We have different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And
you know,
you make a mistake once in a while.
And you have to understand that not everybody's coming from the same place you are, I guess. So, you know, clarify the situation if they want to know. But don't immediately go on the defensive because somebody asked you a question. And again, I think that's why people don't ask the questions because they're afraid they're going to be put on the defensive by that. I feel that society has gotten lazy. They're too lazy to actually get to know a person, instead rely on labels. And that's what we were talking about last week. This label business. You know, we all use labels for lots of things because it's a point of reference for us. If it's the unknown, if we have a label, then it gives us some point. But then that's when we need to ask the questions, right? To break away from the stereotypes that might be embedded in that label. In addition, many feel they have to accept someone because it's not politically correct to disassociate with someone because it will be seen as not being LGBTQ plus friendly instead of the real reason they were simply a jerk. I like that comment because that is very true. A jerk is a jerk. And a jerk will turn around and say, the reason that you are attacking me, the reason you don't like me or whatever is because I'm this or I'm that. No, you're just a jerk. It happens with people from every avenue of life. There are jerks. And let's face it. But some people will fall back and say, oh no, you're being discriminatory. Because of my race, because of my religion, because of my sexual orientation or whatever, just immediately. No, you were just being a jerk. So, you know, get over yourself, really, about it. And I guess that's the bottom line for me. Just some of these people in the LGBTQ community, actually a lot of them, really need to get over themselves. They're not that special. We are not special. I am not special because I happen to be gay. Transgender people are not that special because they are transgendered. Non-binary people are not special because they have different pronouns than everybody else. None of us are special. We're just people living our lives. And I think as soon as people who think they're special realize that, we won't have to worry about offending them anymore. Because they'll understand, I think, the questions. Anyways, that turned into a little sermon, didn't it? From that. But I just thought this whole comment was so well written that I had to share it with everybody. So, what are people saying here?
Just remodeled. Derek Scott said he just remodeled his bathroom last month, and he had no idea how much prices had gone up. Thought I was going to have to sell a kidney to pay for it.
Yeah, that's another thing. They see it coming.
And Selena said that they put in a brand new kitchen. It cost them 15,000 Australia. That sounds cheap for us.
Yeah, really.
But I mean, it really depends on what you're having done.
Yeah.
Right. So the more you have done, the more expensive it is.
Yeah, but that's still a lot of money.
So Selena says, really enjoyed your video on LGBT, etc. Interesting yet confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing. It confuses us, too. So, you know.
Yeah, Laura says, the terminology is confusing as it seems to change often, and it does.
Yeah. I mean, we keep adding another letter. to the group. Really. Like I said in my comment about that on my vlog this past week, I said, let's get rid of the LGBTQ terminology because it keeps getting longer and longer with more letters. Let's just call it the rainbow.
But you know what's going to happen as soon as you call it the rainbow thing, there will be offshoot groups that want to be called their specialty.
Oh, who knows? Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, we're the black rainbow, we're the brown rainbow, we're the yellow rainbow, we're the white rainbow, we're the whatever.
I don't know where it's going to stop, but I think it's getting a little.
Yeah. Well, the way it would stop is if people just stopped using labels. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like. Really, because what do the labels do anyways? I've talked about this
kind
before.
of pigeonholes you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Laura says, and many move my cursor. Many feel afraid to ask. I can relate that you don't want to offend. Yeah. Yeah, Selena says, totally agree, Stephen. I'm not special just because I'm a straight female. And definitely as the one group in society that is not special at all anymore because they're told every day they're not special and all the problems of the world are blamed on them are cisgendered white males who are getting a really bad rap. And actually even white gay males too getting their rap because for some reason we have caused all the problems in the world. We're the reason women aren't equal. We're the reason there's war. We're the reason why minority groups are not seen as equals in society. We're just horrible bastards.
Well, I think part of that problem is because there's so many politicians that are
they are bastards.
That fall into that category.
Yeah.
So.
Well, all politicians are bastards, no matter how you slice it. Judy says, I put in a concrete driveway and oh my, hope it has a gold embedded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And I hope your driveway doesn't crack where you are because...
Yeah, it depends on where you are. Concrete driveways are not that common in our area. We usually... either people do... if they do a premium driveway, it's interlocking brick. And if it's... some people do concrete, not very many. And most people have asphalt driveways.
Asphalt.
Asphalt.
Asphalt. Asphalt driveway. Well, years and years ago, remember your oldest sister.
Yeah, my sister had a concrete driveway put in. It was a printed concrete driveway, and they spent a lot of money for that driveway.
And then it cracked.
No, it pitted.
Oh, I thought it cracked too.
No, it didn't crack. It pitted because they had the spaces.
Okay.
It pitted. And it looks like hell after it pitted. But anyway.
Yeah, and they spent a lot of money, and that was relatively a new thing.
Now in this area, I mean, apparently it's really popular out west, where it's really cold. I'm kind of surprised that it is. But in this area, we have a lot of thawing and freezing cycles, and it can cause problems with concrete.
Yeah. So we have asphalt, which, over a series of years, it will sink.
In fact, we when we first moved in here 27 years ago, we had an asphalt driveway put in, and then just a couple of years ago, we had a new one put in.
Yeah, and then of course they fade, and then you get these guys coming around in the summertime to paint them over with a sealer, which lasts for about a week.
They just basically make it black again.
Yeah, you can get a can of spray paint, do the same thing. Let's see. What's her? Yes, you're right about white men. Needlesmith says, my husband just won't give an opinion around others anymore. Yeah. It's like if you're a white man, you're open for attack from all sides, from everybody. And if you open your mouth and you state something, doesn't matter how simple it is or whatever, if you express an opinion about something, you're going to get it in the jugular. You're going to get it from the ladies. You're going to get it from people from minority groups. You're going to get it from sexual gendered ones. Everybody blames everything on white men.
Yeah, well, Selena says, I'm not defined by my gender, but I but I do want people to assume that I'm a woman or a female. I don't want them to have to ask what my pronouns are. Yeah, see, the problem is that those people are people that want their pronouns to be used are probably a very small minority in the world, right? And they're kind of imposing that on everybody.
Yeah, and that's why the comment that I mentioned earlier that I reacted to basically upset me, because people need to learn, people under the rainbow there need to learn the history. The reason that certain groups today are coming out in the forefront of the LGBTQ community, like non-binary, like transgender, is because of the work that my generation and the generation before us did to get to that state where in society it's a little bit, at least in North American society to a certain degree, is more willing to accept, I don't want to use the word deviation, but differences within, the community.
Yeah, no, I think too many people suddenly take offense that that they're called one gender or another because of their physical appearance, and they kind of assume that everybody has to
conform,
look them or understand that they're something else, or they feel like they should be called something else.
I mean, I'm not against their existence. If they're living their truth, that's fine. But they have to understand that some people will not accept that. So if they're like that, if they're just complete ignoramuses, then you just write them off.
It's sort of like...
But other people are just going to make mistakes, and they're not doing it to offend or anything. They just don't realize.
It's sort of like when I've been to the bank and I've had to do some banking or whatever, and I say, they ask you, are you married? And I say yes, and then they'll ask you, well, what's your wife's name, right? And I'll say, well, my husband's name is Stephen. So they usually suddenly go, oh.
Because they're afraid they've offended you.
Yeah, and I said, that's okay. I said, it's more common, or probably more usual in our area that we live in, that when you say you're married, that you end up being married to a woman. So
they will change the word wife, or in the case of a woman that has a same-sex partner, they'll, instead of saying husband, they will say partner or spouse.
Yeah.
And that is becoming very common now, but that took time to get people used to that idea. So it's the same with the pronouns and the whole bit. The thing about the pronouns is it doesn't fit the rules of English grammar. That's the problem I have with them. So it's not, I don't have a problem using the pronouns they wish to be called by. What I have a problem with is fitting them into a sentence that is grammatically correct, because I was an English major and I was an English teacher. So when you've spent 31 years of your life correcting grammar and this comes out immediately, that's what goes off in your head. It has nothing to do with the individual. It has everything to do with syntax and grammar with it. So, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to retrain myself in that. But I'm trying to be conscious of it. I am trying with that. And I think that's all anybody can ask, is that at least you give it a try. Okay? Don't condemn it immediately, kind of a thing. Laura says, how were your parents when you came out to them? Were they immediately accepting, or did it take time? Well, that's a story for another day.
That's a story for another
because coming out is a whole thing. Maybe next week we'll talk about that.
The other thing is that you got to remember we're from a different generation. So that was a different time.
That was a very different time. And let's just say maybe next week we'll talk a little bit more about coming out in the process and everything like that. But just to put it in a nutshell, my parents were okay. They didn't disown me or anything like that, but they never were completely comfortable with it. Even at our wedding, my parents were Well, if they were standing up and you gave them a pitchfork, they'd look like American Gothic, the picture.
Well, in my case, my dad had already passed away when I came out to them, and my mom was not surprised, but she was not very accepting right away, and it took a little while. And same with my siblings. It took a little while, but it wasn't. It was like, I wasn't disowned or anything like that. So it just took a little while for them to come around.
This is a very that simple question is very complex.
Yeah, and it's different for everybody. We know people that their parents never accepted it, and they didn't.
But I think it's worth, since this is Pride Month and the whole bit, I think it is worth talking about it with all of you. And so I think next week we will make time to discuss that. So you might want to think up some questions you might want to ask. And you know us well enough now, we'll answer anything.
Well, within reason.
Yeah.
If it's not a nice comment.
I think most people know what we mean by within reason out of that. So we'll save that discussion for next week, I think, because that will be good. So if you can wait till then, Laura, all will be revealed for you. Yeah, Judy, you're right. What's wrong with using your name?
Yeah, actually, technically, that's the best way around it, is to use someone's name.
Yeah.
Apparently, then you don't have, provided you know what their name is.
Yeah. Well, I said that in my vlog, I don't introduce myself to somebody who doesn't know me and go, hi, I'm Stephen, I'm gay. I go, hi, my name is Stephen. None of their business what my sexual orientation is, really. Unless, there's a reason that, or they ask me or it comes up in discussion for some reason, then fine. I have nothing to hide with that. But, call me by my name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah, I think
But just quickly here, Jan says when she was married in the 70s and she announced she was keeping her maiden name, which was told she couldn't do that by a lot of folks. And nowadays, it's very accepted for women to keep their maiden name, and I actually think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think back then when people were doing it, it seemed a little strange because we grew up in the generation where, when you met a lady that you didn't know, you're introduced, she was Mrs. and whatever the husband's name was, and that kind of thing. And now today, women, for many reasons, keep their maiden name. They probably have a career, they're probably in a profession or something, and it's very difficult for them to have to change a lot of things. Everybody knows them by that name. Also, it comes from the tradition that says that a female, when she's married, is the possession of her husband. And many women don't want to be seen as a possession. So I fully agree they should keep their maiden name. It's also part of their heritage.
It's interesting because just try and keep this short, but I used to work with a lady, and her last name was a Dutch-sounding last name, and I come from a Dutch background. And you automatically kind of assume that she's Dutch, but then she turned around and said, well, no, I married a Scottish man, or no, I married a Dutch man, but I'm Scottish background.
Yeah.
Right? And then suddenly her name, her whole heritage changes. And everybody thinks she's Dutch because she got married to a Dutch man.
The only thing that becomes confusing, at least in the teaching profession, is when someone calls you up, a parent, and say it's the mother, and she has kept her maiden name, and she says who she is, and you're going, who? Like, who's your kid? Most times, though, they would say, hi, this is, I'm Mary Brown. I'm Jackie Wilson's mother. But, I'd had some that didn't do that, and it gets a little confusing, but that's a minor thing. Anyways, we're getting into another new topic here, and it's time to go with it all. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and thank you for your comments and your questions as well. And yes, next week will be coming out stories. I think we'll do that, plus whatever else we'll talk about, because you know us, we always go off on tangents. So I hope everybody has a good week. Check out the show notes for links to some of my things from the week before, and there'll be new things up next week, possibly with a little bit of editing as I play with the new program. And yeah, So have a good week, and we'll see everybody next week, if not sooner. Bye for now.
Bye. Have a good week.